This happens when you do 25 squats twice a day. As the years accumulate, the significance of your muscle mass transcends mere aesthetics, becoming an undeniably critical determinant of both your daily quality of life and your overall longevity. It is a fundamental pillar of independent living, robust health, and sustained vitality, influencing everything from your metabolic rate to your ability to prevent debilitating falls. Yet, despite this profound impact, a vast majority of individuals neglect to engage in any consistent, regular activities aimed at maintaining or strengthening their musculature. This widespread inaction often stems from a deeply ingrained yet erroneous belief that building and preserving muscle must inherently be a strenuous, time-consuming, and perhaps even painful endeavor. This perception, however, stands in stark contrast to the reality. Cultivating and nurturing your muscle strength does not have to be an arduous ordeal. You are not obligated to invest in a costly gym membership, nor do you need to commute to a specialized facility. The transformative power lies within your reach, right in the comfort of your own home. Simply committing to performing 25 squats just twice each day possesses the remarkable capacity to initiate profound positive shifts in your fundamental biology. So, the essential questions arise. Why is exercise, particularly at later stages of life, so vitally important? And more specifically, why have squats been singled out as such a potent intervention? For those who have never embraced a regular exercise routine, or for individuals who find themselves returning to physical activity after an extended hiatus spanning several years, the most effective approach is often the simplest one. Let's distill the concept down to its core, focusing initially on just one exercise. The logic is compelling. You intrinsically know you are capable of performing a single exercise. And if you are going to dedicate your limited energy and time to just one movement, it is paramount to select one that maximally engages the largest, most metabolically active muscle groups in your entire body. In this regard, squats reign supreme. This compound movement primarily targets your quadriceps muscles, which are the powerful muscles located at the front of your thighs, crucial for extending the knee and standing. It also heavily recruits your gluteus maximus, the largest muscle in your body, forming the bulk of your buttocks and playing a vital role in hip extension and posture. Furthermore, squats effectively engage the adductors, a substantial group of muscles situated on the inside of your thigh, responsible for drawing the legs together. These muscles are collectively known as primary movers in the squat exercise. They bear the lion's share of the workload, undergoing significant changes in length and experiencing substantial muscular stress, which is precisely what drives adaptation and growth. However, the comprehensive benefits of squats extend far beyond these primary movers. This dynamic movement also intricately involves and strengthens a multitude of other crucial muscle groups, many of which form the foundation of your core stability and functional strength. Your abdominal muscles are constantly engaged to maintain trunk rigidity, preventing your lower back from arching excessively. Your obliques, situated along the sides of your trunk, work synergistically to help stabilize your torso, countering rotational forces and ensuring balance. The intricate network of spinal muscles running along your vertebral column is also activated to support and protect your spine throughout the movement. These abdominal, oblique, and spinal muscles collectively constitute your core and trunk musculature. While they may not be the primary engines driving the squat's vertical motion, their involvement is incredibly significant. They are not merely passive stabilizers. They undergo subtle but crucial changes in length and tension, contributing actively to the overall movement. Indeed, a properly executed squat is a symphony of muscular coordination, engaging a staggering total of 18 distinct muscle groups across your body. One of the most profound insights to grasp when considering the benefits of squats, and indeed any purposeful movement, is the fundamental principle of muscle activation as a two-way neurological street. While it is commonly understood that your brain issues efferent commands, sending signals out to your muscles, instructing them on what actions to perform, the critical reciprocal process is often overlooked. Simultaneously, your muscles are constantly transmitting afferent signals back to your brain, providing a rich, continuous stream of sensory information. This constant, intricate dialogue between the brain and muscles means that whenever you activate a muscle, you are inherently engaging and stimulating both ends of this crucial neuromuscular circuit. This reciprocal communication is precisely why engaging in movements like squats is so absolutely critical for healthy aging. In fact, a squat can be accurately described as an elaborate, full-body neurological event, arguably one of the most complete and functionally rich exercises we have at our disposal. Let's delve deeper into this captivating concept of the neuromuscular system, the seamless interplay between neural tissue and muscular tissue. How do these two seemingly disparate systems collaborate to create movement and maintain bodily function? Fundamentally, your brain serves as the ultimate control center, orchestrating every single function within your body. Absolutely everything, from the most conscious decision to the most unconscious physiological process, is either directly controlled or intricately regulated through some action initiated or mediated by your brain. Your brain is an astonishingly powerful information processor, capable of handling billions of bits of information every single second. Yet your conscious mind, the part of you that experiences and perceives, is only actively aware of a mere fraction of this colossal data flow, perhaps thousands of bits per second. This means that for every conscious thought or action, there is a million times more activity silently unfolding behind the scenes, working tirelessly to keep your body functioning optimally, an intricate dance of which you remain entirely oblivious. But if the brain exercises such absolute control over every facet of your being, how does it acquire the knowledge it needs to direct these myriad operations? Intriguingly, the brain itself has never directly seen, heard, touched, or felt anything in the external world. It exists in a dark, silent, self-contained environment within your skull. Instead, the brain operates as a sophisticated receiver and sender of information, processing what can be thought of as streams of ones and zeros, discrete bits of data. In neurological terms, a signal traveling out from the brain to the body is termed an efferent signal, carrying commands. Conversely, a signal traveling into the brain from the body is known as an afferent signal, conveying sensory information. It is this vast influx of afferent information, these countless incoming signals from your body, that are absolutely vital in informing the brain about its environment and internal state, guiding its subsequent actions. These signals communicate crucial data, such as the precise tension within a muscle or the exact position of a body part in three-dimensional space, a concept known as proprioception. As you engage in movement like performing a squat, you activate specialized sensory receptors embedded within your muscles and joints. These include muscle spindle cells, which detect changes in muscle length and the rate of change, relaying information about muscle tension and stretch. Simultaneously, joint mechanoreceptors located within the joint capsules provide continuous feedback on joint position, movement, and pressure. The brain meticulously processes all this incoming afferent information, integrating it to construct a comprehensive, real-time picture of your body's status in its environment. It then utilizes this dynamic picture to formulate and execute appropriate responses. The fundamental key to understanding the brain's role here is recognizing that its primary function, its work, is to process information. And this information processing is an incredibly energy-intensive task, arguably some of the most demanding work your body undertakes. Much like a muscle generates force and performs work by contracting under tension, the brain's purpose is to continuously process information. Despite comprising only about 2% of your total body mass, your brain consumes an astonishing 20 to 25% of all the energy generated by your body, predominantly to process these vital afferent signals and translate them into responsive, efferent commands. Crucially, these constant afferent signals, these streams of information flowing into the brain, are not just data, they are the very sustenance that keeps the brain alive, engaged, and thriving. This brings us to the profound and inescapable principle encapsulated by the phrase, use it or lose it. While almost everyone has encountered this adage, very few truly comprehend the far-reaching, almost universal implications of this concept. It is not merely a suggestion or a recommendation. It operates akin to a fundamental law of physics, a pervasive law of nature that governs all living systems. You cannot defy it, nor can you simply choose to ignore its immutable effects. It permeates and directs virtually every aspect of biological existence. Anything that is alive, anything that possesses the spark of life, inherently possesses the ability to adapt to its surrounding environment and to conserve its precious resources in order to maximize its chances of survival. Even rudimentary, single-celled organisms exhibit this capacity. They can detect changes in their environment, process that information, and initiate actions necessary for their continued existence. Consider the simplest plant, a delicate flower, or even a humble blade of grass. All are living entities endowed with the power of adaptation. Plants will instinctively orient themselves towards the sun to optimize light absorption for photosynthesis, a clear adaptation for survival. Similarly, many flowers will elegantly close their petals during the night, a strategic act of resource preservation and energy conservation. The underlying imperative is clear. In order to survive, all living organisms must economize, and this principle of economization, of ruthless efficiency, is the very essence of use it or lose it. When we apply this principle to the intricate workings of the human brain, we focus on its fundamental units of communication, synapses. A synapse is the microscopic junction where one nerve cell, neuron, communicates with another, transmitting or receiving messages. Our brains house an estimated 100 billion neurons, and on average, each neuron forms thousands of these synaptic connections with its neighbors. In certain highly complex regions of the brain, a single neuron can boast hundreds of thousands of connections. These countless connections are the very architecture through which we learn, adapt, and process information. Early in life, from birth up until approximately 3 years of age, the brain undergoes an astonishing period of synaptic explosion. During this developmental window, 1 million new synapses are formed every single second, a torrent of new connections, far more than the organism will ever consciously need. The evolutionary rationale behind this initial overproduction is to ensure that the developing human child is maximally prepared for any conceivable environment it might encounter, ready to adapt to whatever challenges or opportunities its surroundings present. As the child begins to actively explore and interact with its environment, a natural process of refinement commences. The synaptic connections that are frequently used, the neural pathways that are repeatedly activated through experiences, learning, and interaction become strengthened and more ingrained, not necessarily permanent, but certainly more robust. Conversely, the connections that are rarely or never utilized begin to weaken and are eventually pruned away, much like a gardener prunes a plant to optimize its growth and fruit production. This ongoing process of pruning and building leads to an exquisite optimization of the nervous system, dynamically sculpted by an individual's specific environment, interests, and learning experiences. This remarkable capacity for growth and adaptation in the brain, much like in the muscles, reaches its peak around the age of 25. Beyond this point, the survival imperative shifts. While growth is still possible, the body's primary focus becomes economizing resources and avoiding waste. Consequently, the body prioritizes the maintenance of the most vital structures, both muscular and neurological, and which structures are deemed most important. Invariably, they are the ones that are actively used. When one truly grasps that this is an immutable law of nature, fundamentally driven by the purpose of survival, it becomes clear that it is, in fact, biologically wasteful for the body to expend energy-maintaining structures and tissues that are not actively contributing to its survival or function. This fundamental principle profoundly influences what we commonly perceive as decline or degeneration in later life. Consider a lifestyle characterized by minimal exposure to gravity, perhaps prolonged periods of sitting or reduced mobility. In such an environment, your body's inherent wisdom dictates, based on this person's lifestyle, they only require tiny, brittle bones. There is no significant stress, no challenge, so maintaining dense, strong bones would be an unnecessary waste of resources. The bones, therefore, become thinner and more fragile, increasing the risk of fractures. Similarly, if your muscles receive insufficient regular challenge, if your daily physical activity is limited to merely ambulating between the fridge, the bathroom, and the car, your body will interpret this as a signal. It will conclude this individual only needs enough muscle mass to perform these minimal tasks. It would be inefficient and wasteful to sustain the other muscles, so let them gradually waste away. This leads to sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass and strength. Up until approximately age 25, this developmental growth, both muscular and neurological, occurs largely automatically. It is primarily driven by genetic programming, though it is certainly influenced by lifestyle factors such as activity levels. It's almost for free, requiring relatively little conscious effort to develop. However, after the age of 25, the rules of the game change dramatically. From that point onward, you must actively earn the maintenance and growth of these vital systems. And notably, after the age of 40, the rate of degeneration accelerates with each passing decade. As global populations age and more individuals live to advanced years, it is becoming increasingly evident that both your sustained quality of life and your ultimate longevity will be inextricably linked to the amount of functional muscle mass you are able to preserve and maintain. Its influence is overwhelmingly strong, a cornerstone of healthy aging. Hopefully by now you can fully appreciate the critical, undeniable importance of actively maintaining your muscle mass throughout your life. Let's now turn our attention to the specific tangible benefits that just 25 squats performed twice a day can begin to impart. The immediate effects are remarkably profound and multifaceted. First and foremost, performing squats immediately wakes up your nervous system. As previously discussed, every muscle movement generates a cascade of afferent incoming information signals that flood your brain. This sensory input acts like a potent stimulant, enhancing overall neurological activity and alertness. Secondly, squats significantly boost your circulation. The rhythmic contraction and relaxation of large muscle groups in your legs act as powerful pumps, propelling blood more efficiently throughout your circulatory system. This surge in blood flow increases the delivery of vital oxygen and essential nutrients to every cell in your body, particularly to peripheral tissues such as your hands and feet, which often tend to become cold when circulation is stagnant during prolonged periods of sitting. Movement actively drives this crucial circulation. Thirdly, squats actively lubricate and nourish your joints and surrounding connective tissues. Joints, particularly those that bear weight, like the knees and hips, possess a very poor direct blood supply. In fact, there is essentially no direct blood circulation within the joint capsule itself. Instead, the joint relies heavily on the pumping action created by movement to draw in synovial fluid, a viscous liquid that lubricates the joint and transports nutrients into the cartilage while simultaneously removing metabolic waste products. Therefore, when you engage in an active, weight-bearing movement like a squat, you activate this essential pumping mechanism, directly supporting the health, flexibility, and longevity of your joints. Fourthly, and of immense metabolic significance, performing squats immediately improves your blood sugar control and enhances your insulin sensitivity. Your muscles are the largest consumers of glucose in your entire body, acting like vast sponges. The crucial difference between a resting muscle and a working muscle is that a contracting active muscle is capable of absorbing glucose from the bloodstream without requiring insulin or with significantly less insulin. This means that even if you are experiencing insulin resistance, the act of moving your muscles through squats will prompt those muscle cells to start actively drawing glucose out of your blood, thereby helping to regulate blood sugar levels. Beyond these immediate physiological shifts, more far-reaching and noticeable effects begin to manifest after just a few days of consistent practice. For instance, your legs will begin to feel demonstrably stronger. Tasks that once required considerable effort, such as standing up from a low chair, will suddenly feel much easier, less strenuous. Climbing stairs will no longer be a formidable strain, but a more manageable activity. You will also likely observe a distinct improvement in your overall posture. Squats are exceptional at activating and strengthening the intricate network of postural muscles throughout your core and back, teaching them to work together in a coordinated, synergistic unit, leading to a more upright, stable, and confident stance. Because squats compel so many of your muscles to work in concert, you will probably find that a variety of other daily movements become more fluid, controlled, and efficient. However, it is important to understand that even as you notice these myriad benefits, there might not be any significant, visible muscle growth yet. This highlights the crucial concept of neuromuscular balance, recognizing that change occurs on two distinct but interconnected fronts. In the initial stages, the neural aspect of adaptation progresses far more rapidly than the muscular aspect. The initial improvements you experience are primarily due to neuroplastic changes. This means that those synapses, those critical neural connections we discussed earlier, are being actively refined. Your brain is forging new, more precise connections and significantly strengthening existing ones that are essential for efficient movement. Consequently, up to this point, all the improvements in perceived strength and control are primarily attributable to enhanced timing, precision, and efficiency of these underlying neural pathways, rather than an increase in brute muscle mass. Squats are also heralded as one of the most effective exercises for improving both mobility and flexibility. You will distinctly notice an increased range of motion in your hips and ankles, two joint complexes that often become stiff with sedentary lifestyles. Consistent squatting will also significantly reduce stiffness and discomfort in your knees and lower back. Moreover, squats play a vital role in restoring natural movement patterns within the body, unlike isolated exercises performed with dumbbells or on fixed path machines, where you might push a lever while seated. Squats demand that your body operate as a single, integrated, functional unit. This teaches your body coupled mechanics, training numerous muscles to fire together in harmonious pathways, mimicking the complex movements of daily life. A significant benefit of this holistic training is a dramatic reduction in your risk of low back injuries and chronic low back pain, particularly when engaging in activities involving heavy lifting. Furthermore, squats are unequivocally one of the finest core strength exercises you can perform. The core musculature's fundamental role is to stabilize your trunk against the forces of gravity and movement. During a squat, your core is continuously engaged to maintain spinal integrity and balance, ensuring that all those core muscles are integrated into the natural mechanics of bending and moving. While other isolated core exercises certainly have their place, it is crucial to recognize that the core's primary function is stabilization in a gravity-laden, dynamic environment. When you perform core exercises lying flat on the ground, while still beneficial, the core is not truly challenged in its natural, functional role of stabilizing a moving body against gravity. Squats inherently integrate this functional core engagement. The advantages continue. Squats will profoundly improve your balance, directly translating to a significantly reduced risk of falling. This is of paramount importance, especially for older adults, as falls represent the #1 cause of traumatic death in the elderly population. The heightened risk of falls in older individuals is multifactorial, stemming from reduced muscle mass, sarcopenia, diminished core strength, and a general slowing of brain processing speed. When an older person stumbles or loses balance, their brain may not be able to process the sensory input quickly enough, and the neural pathways to the muscles may not be fast or precise enough to initiate the rapid compensatory movements required to regain balance. By consistently performing squats and consequently enhancing muscle strength, core stability, and the speed and precision of neuromuscular pathways, you can dramatically mitigate the risk of these dangerous falls. Should you decide to embrace this transformative practice, the absolute most important consideration is to prioritize your safety and prevent injury. Therefore, impeccable, proper form is the non-negotiable key to successful and sustainable squatting. Begin by positioning your feet slightly wider than your shoulders, establishing a broad and stable base. Then, gently point your toes a little outward, angling your feet approximately 45 to 60 degrees. Refer to the diagram provided in the video, where the green area indicates about 45 degrees and the blue area about 60 degrees. This specific angle is highly individual. The optimal position is wherever you naturally feel the most comfortable and stable. Crucially, avoid attempting squats with your feet pointing straight forward, as this can place undue and potentially harmful strain on your knee joints. An incorrect stance will predispose you to compensate with improper mechanics, increasing the likelihood of injury. As you initiate the downward phase of the squat, slowly lowering your body, diligently observe and ensure that your knees consistently remain aligned with your toes and feet. If your feet are angled outward, your knees should similarly track in the same outward direction. They must never buckle or bend inwards. By rigorously adhering to this alignment, you dramatically reduce strain on your knees, support their natural mechanics, and activate the correct muscle pathways, thereby creating robust stability in the joint. Next, concentrate on distributing the majority of your body weight, significantly more than half, ideally 2/3 or even 3/4, through your heels. This weight distribution is paramount for stability and safety. Anytime your weight shifts forward towards your toes, you inevitably place considerably more strain on your knees. Conversely, by keeping your weight firmly on your heels, you actively spare your knee joints, while simultaneously maximizing the engagement of your powerful gluteus maximus muscles, which is precisely the desired outcome. We must also distinguish clearly between having a straight back and an upright back. While you absolutely want to maintain a straight, stable spine, engaging your core to lock in that position, this does not mean your back should remain perfectly perpendicular or vertical throughout the squat. It is entirely acceptable and often necessary for proper mechanics to keep your back straight while simultaneously bending forward slightly at the hips as you descend into the squat. Attempting to maintain an unnaturally upright torso will compromise your natural biomechanics, once again placing undue stress on your knees. The optimal mental image is to think of sticking your butt out backward as if reaching for a chair, while simultaneously making a conscious effort to keep your chest lifted and proud. These two actions, extending the hips backward and lifting the chest, are not mutually exclusive. They work in tandem to engage your postural muscles and maintain spinal integrity. Finally, and this point cannot be overstated, always work strictly within a controlled range of motion that is appropriate for you at this specific moment in time. The depth of anyone else's squat or any arbitrary degree measurement you may have heard regarding knee flexion is entirely irrelevant. Your sole focus should be on following these safety guidelines and performing the movement within your personal controlled range. You will undoubtedly improve over time, but never push yourself too hard, too early. This principle extends to a pain-free range. If you experience any discomfort or pain, immediately reduce your range of motion until the pain subsides. This too can be gradually improved upon later. I am here to unequivocally assure you that you possess the inherent capacity to initiate genuine, transformative change at any age. It makes no difference. Whether you are 40, 50, 80, or even 90 years young, your body still retains these incredible adaptive responses hardwired into its fundamental biology. If you consistently challenge your body, if you provide it with the right type of stimulation, these intricate mechanics, these physiological processes, this remarkable neuroplasticity are all poised and ready for you to activate them. The only variable to be mindful of is that the older you are, the slower the observable response might be. But do not despair or become discouraged. The response will indeed come. You simply need to cultivate a greater degree of patience and unwavering consistency. To outline a realistic timeline of progress, from day 1 to approximately day 10, the primary improvement you will experience is in your neurological timing and efficiency. Any perceived gains in strength during this initial period, while incredibly important, are predominantly due to your nervous system becoming more finely tuned, more precise, and more coordinated in sending signals to your muscles. It's akin to optimizing the software before upgrading the hardware. Then, during weeks 2 to 3, your body enters a preparatory phase, getting ready for actual growth. Think of it as setting up all the production equipment. Your body begins to upregulate the pathways for protein synthesis, the complex machinery and enzymes required to build new muscle tissue. It's laying the groundwork. Following this preparatory phase, from week 3 to 6, you will start to observe actual, discernible muscle growth. While not yet enormous or maximal, it will be clearly detectable. During this period, your existing muscle fibers will begin to thicken, hypertrophy, and your body will start laying down more structural protein and new muscle fibers. You will experience a measurable increase in lean muscle mass, and if you steadfastly maintain your commitment beyond this point between weeks 6 and 12, this is where truly significant and obvious changes begin to materialize. If consistent, you will likely see a measurable increase in your thigh circumference, provided you are not simultaneously burning off a substantial amount of fat. Your muscles will be visibly larger at this stage, and you will experience a far more significant increase in strength, allowing you to perform more demanding tasks with considerably less effort. At this juncture, these gains will be a synergistic result of both ongoing improvements in neural efficiency and the tangible increase in muscle mass. Crucially, it is around this time that you will genuinely notice your overall quality of life becoming materially different, as many activities that once posed a challenge or caused difficulty now feel remarkably easier and more accessible. If you have dedicated your time to watching and absorbing this information thus far, I commend you on your profound dedication to understanding your body and improving your health. I want to convey an empowering message. You absolutely can achieve this. Therefore, make a firm decision right now in this moment to commit to taking action. If you are capable of performing 25 squats from the outset, that's truly excellent. If that number feels too ambitious, then begin with a more modest, achievable goal of 5 or 10 squats. The paramount objective is simply to do something and, crucially, to maintain unwavering consistency with it. For beginners, half squats are a fantastic starting point. You could also perform assisted squats, using a sturdy chair for support as you lower yourself. If you happen to possess an office chair with adjustable height, you can begin by squatting down to its highest position, and as your strength and confidence grow, progressively lower the chair by an inch at a time, gradually increasing your range of motion. The key, as I have emphasized, is to make that decision right now and believe in your inherent ability to achieve it. Just commit to performing squats twice a day. You do not even need to commit to a specific number initially. Simply commit to the act of doing something, because once you begin, you will inevitably start to improve, and as you get better, you will naturally be able to do more. When your current routine begins to feel too easy, when it no longer presents a sufficient challenge, that is the opportune moment to introduce a change or add an extra element. You can then progressively increase the number of repetitions, moving from 10 to 15, then to 20, and perhaps eventually to 50 or more. Alternatively, you could increase the number of sets, perhaps performing 2 sets of 25 squats each time you exercise. Or, as mentioned with the adjustable chair, you can incrementally increase your range of motion, working your way down to a deeper squat. Remember, never rush the process. Commit to doing something and strive to improve gradually, one small step at a time. If you found this video insightful and helpful, you are sure to appreciate our other content as well. And if your true aspiration is to master your health by gaining a profound understanding of how the human body genuinely functions, then please ensure you subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and activate all notifications so you never miss a potentially life-saving video.